go.
Okay, well, the video's not playing for some reason. That's a great way to start the show already. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to Waaaay Offsides. I'm your host, Waaaay Offsides Jeff. I'm alone this evening for a little while. Cotton is not with us this evening. He's busy doing other fun stuff. He doesn't like us anymore, right? Anyway, so we've got our interview with Randy from HBTFDAWGSCAST. I had to get that right. I think you guys can pretty much guess what that stands for. Randy's a good friend of the show, brings a lot of good Georgia insight. We recorded this on Sunday afternoon. That was the best time we could line up with Randy. He was pretty busy this week. If you guys have been bouncing around the shows, he's been on several shows. So it was good to get Randy in for a little while, about 30 minutes. So y'all sit back, enjoy. I'm gonna run this video of Randy. Yeah, right, Cat. Cotton's a that's right. He's at some parade somewhere. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Sneak attack. That's right. All right. So anyway, you guys enjoyed this segment with Randy. It's a good one. Randy's good people, good friend of the show. So you guys enjoy. So all right. So welcome today from the HBTFDAWGSCAST. I'm pretty sure I can guess what that stands for. Friend of the show, Randy. He's been here before. We're just going to we want to get Randy in here so we could talk heading into this game this Saturday, biggest game of the year for Alabama so far, and probably for Georgia too. I know it's the biggest game for DeBoer's legacy, being a road game. He's really got to win this game going into this game, but we just wanted to bring Randy in to get kind of thoughts from the Georgia side as they approach this game, not having a new coach, having established coach. And whereas Alabama now we're in uncharted waters for the last 2 decades almost. So I think it's a bigger game for Alabama, much bigger game for DeBoer to have to win to get this game on the road. Anyway, that's a lot of talking I did, but welcome, Randy. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm happy just to be able to fit in the show somewhere.
That's right. So tell me your thoughts, Randy. You're looking at Alabama as a Georgia fan. You're looking at Alabama coming to this game. Alabama's coming off two good wins against lesser competition, granted, but you like seeing games like that, playing teams of that level. You know, if that had been a 21-17 game, you know, Rome is burning, you know, so you need to see your team go win games like that against competition of that level. They need to do what they do. So coming into this game from the Georgia seat, what are you looking at going in this game?
Well, there were a couple of things about those games you just mentioned, because coming off of what happened in Tallahassee, I had one firm opinion about Alabama, and I said, well, let's see what they do. But so they go out, they do what they do against those opponents, and I think you're right. You want to see them do that the way they did it. But for me, that only answers half of the question. It was a 2-part question. The first part was, is that really who Alabama is, what we saw at Florida State, or was it just some variation of, you know, the larger thing? We know now that, yeah, they can still score the football. We know now that Ty Simpson is, you know, a really good quarterback if he's given an opportunity to stand in there and do what quarterbacks do. We know that Alabama still has athletes, and we know that at least against that level of opponent, they are able to rally and answer the bell. So I know that seems like a low bar, but coming after week 1, I think it was up for discussion, right? So we know that much. The other part was the mental toughness part. And that's the part that concerns me more about Alabama, like where they are, their psyche, because it was a road game. And I know that's a sore spot for Alabama fans in general under Kalen DeBoer. And then it was how it looked. And when you watch football for a living, as long as I have, if it doesn't look right, then that's usually a sign of a bigger issue. And against opponents like you played the last couple of weeks, that can be masked for sure because you have an athlete advantage. So I'm really curious what we're going to see in Athens, because Alabama hasn't come in 10 years. This is in no way the same sort of thing that Alabama came into when they got here 10 years ago. It's a completely different animal. So I'm curious, and I'm talking about the fans and the environment and just all that. So I'm curious, are they going to revert? Is that who they actually were, who we saw against Florida State, or is this going to be a different looking squad? I don't think anybody knows. I think it's a completely fair question. And I think most Alabama fans are asking exactly the same question about their team. So I give Alabama full credit for being who and what they are, based on what we've seen, which is a talented team, good quarterback, good head coach, usually gets them up for big games. That underlying question, though, we'll find out Saturday.
We will find out Saturday. I love that it's a night game. I was hoping it was going to be a 6:30 game. Just something about Saturday night football, SEC football is just a different. It's a different feel, a different blood. Cotton's in here. We're going to get him in here in a second whenever he gets ready. Anyway, so coming into this game, Randy, then so we've seen Alabama do some things. What is your biggest fear after seeing the Tennessee game, kind of seeing 3 games of Georgia, what you know of your team? What's your biggest fear as you come into this game facing Alabama, coming off 2 pretty easy wins? But what's your biggest fear?
From a Georgia angle, the thing that I am most concerned about breaks out to be like a numbers game. And that is will Georgia allow Ty Simpson the opportunity to operate from the pocket? Because the fact of the matter is, for a lot of different reasons, philosophy, style, portal, just a bunch of different things, Georgia, in terms of having defensive backs that can match up with a number of wide receiver options that Bama has that are quality, that could be a problem. So if you don't get after Ty Simpson, move him around, make him get off his, where he wants to be, get off his spot, then you could just find yourself in a bad situation. And I think back to, and I'm not drawing a direct comparison here between Ohio State in 2022 and this Alabama team, but I just look at the number of receivers that you trust throwing the football to. Ohio State had a similar kind of thing. They had their top 1 or 2, but it was the number. So eventually, regardless of if it's 3 or 4 reads, you can get down to a guy who's going to win. So that's the first part of the problem. You're going to have a favorable matchup somewhere when you've got a lot of options. And 2, will Georgia be able to generate enough pass rush from the edges or with the backer pressure to get Ty moving, speed him up, and not let him make those progressions, right? Can he move enough to buy time? So again, I see it as a math problem. It's like a moving equation. If Georgia doesn't move him and heat him up a little bit, and I don't mean pressure, I just mean speed up his game, then eventually you're going to run into a spot where somebody's going to come free, and you just got to hope at that point that it's not for a big one. That's the thing that probably is my biggest concern.
Yeah, I can understand that. And that kind of segues right into my biggest concern on when Alabama has the ball is the pass rush. If Alabama's offensive line can give him time, really with any quarterback, they'll carve you up.
Right.
If we can't get pressure on Gunner, he's going to pick us apart. He's going to have his way. If we can't generate some kind of pressure, like you said, make him run a little, just bother him. You just got to bother him, even if you don't sack him, or you just got to bother the quarterback. Like you said, disrupt his line of thinking as he's progress. If he's got to stop to think about ducking or stepping up a little sooner than he was thinking, and then it throws off. You just got to bother him a little bit, and that worries me a little bit. And then when Alabama has the ball, my worry is stopping Georgia's running game. I don't know how good of a running game Georgia has after 3 games, but my big concern is stopping the run. And if we can't stop the run, it's going to be a long Saturday.
Well, playing off of that, that's what this bye week, you ask yourself, do you love it or do you hate it? Especially if you're a Georgia fan, right? Because we're looking at all this time that you get to sit on it and just look at this next opponent. But from a roster perspective, it's really good for Georgia. They needed it. They have players that needed that time to prehab, rehab, do the stuff that they need to do to get ready and be ready to go. The one thing you can count on about Georgia's run game in this game is that they are absolutely going to be stubborn about it. It doesn't matter if they're getting stoned early in the game for 2 yards or carry or whatever it is. They're going to run the ball in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter because that's who they are. Now, it's on Alabama to say that's a bad plan, right? If they can shut them down, great. But Georgia's going to be stubborn about it. And there are players there that have been productive for Georgia. Through this point in the season, there are 4 Georgia Bulldog running backs that are on pace to finish with more than 400 yards. And prior to the year, I said, if they can do that, then I'm going to be a happy dog, because that means that you're consistently running the ball. The play action game is going to work, right? Just doffing my cap to those wide receivers and tight ends. And I never had an issue or a worry about Gunner. So I said, you give me 4 backs that are over 400 yards with meaningful carries, right? Not garbage time stuff. Then I'm going to feel good about that. Right now, that's the pace we're on. So, like I said, they're going to be stubborn, and it is going to go a long way in determining, how this thing ultimately shakes out.
That's a big word for me.
That's my biggest concern. Hey, I'm happy to jump in. That is my biggest concern, Randy, is looking at it. I think Georgia's like 30th right now in the country in rushing offense. Alabama's rushing defense is like in the 90s, maybe hundreds or like light 100s. Yeah, so I feel like Georgia, Kirby Smart's too good of a coach not to recognize that. Georgia is definitely going to test Alabama up front. Now, the biggest thing for Bama is potentially getting Tim Keenan back and hopefully shoring up that inside run. Personally, for me, I don't have a lot of faith because Keenan played last year and we were susceptible to the inside run all year. But I like what you said about the pass rush. That's something people aren't really talking about in this game. But for the Alabama fans watching this, the narrative all season has been that Gunnar Stockton he can't throw the ball. I challenge you to go back and watch that Tennessee game. There is one throw that Stockton made, that late touchdown throw he made. That was a beautiful NFL throw. It was gorgeous. I've been encouraging Alabama fans, don't buy into that narrative, but the pass rush is going to be extremely important because in this game, like you said, like there's going to be opportunity somewhere. Time will equal opportunity for these quarterbacks. My concern is Alabama's, tackles haven't been exceptional. And I could very much see like Caden Proctor struggling in this game. We all know about the right side of the line. And so Ty's going to have to make decisions very quick. I do think that Georgia secondary is a little susceptible. I think that they'll probably play a lot better than they did against Tennessee on the road. They're going to be at home. But it's going to be another big one. It's going to be another good one. I also think there's, Kirby Smart's 1-6 versus Alabama, something like that.
I don't know his personal. I know the last 10, Georgia's 1-9. So I would imagine it's that number.
Yeah. That's to me sounds like a stat it's time. You can't uphold that for a long period of time. And so
that'll give.
Yeah, right. The levee's going to break. And so I'm curious, and you can take your or you can put on your dog colored glasses here. Like, do you honestly think Alabama has a chance in this game? You and Jeff may have already hit on this a little bit, but I'm struggling with it a little bit this week.
No, I don't need glasses because the view is the same. Like, Alabama has a chance to beat Georgia on Saturday. I picked Alabama to beat Georgia this year. The thing about that, though, and this is the point that people miss, is I made that pick because about Georgia. It's not, in my mind, about Alabama.
Okay.
Because think about it. You may have heard the bit there where I was coming in saying you've got 2 weeks to look at the game. Now, there's a thing about the history. It's ridiculous, really, for Georgia. I promise you, Georgia's prior 8 victories over Tennessee did not one thing to help them beat Tennessee last Saturday.
You're absolutely right.
And that's the same reality holds true for Georgia against, Alabama. Now, fans love to say it. and it's whatever. But that's all it is whatever. But if you're a young guy, though, and Georgia is a young football team, the zeitgeist is such that you can't escape that number, right? People like me are out here talking about it with other people. It gets back. And whether they want to admit it or not, it gets stuck in their head. And they believe it more than you or I ever could, that this play is different than the last play, is different than the next play. But that can go either way. Like, because they're so young, maybe it doesn't matter at all to this Georgia team because they've proven nothing. They have to go earn everything because of the state of the roster. Or maybe they have 2 weeks to hear it and they're young, and now that just they're so fired up. It's kind of like Alabama was last year. Alabama fans wanted that game last year in a big way. And it was more to do with Alabama than it was Georgia. They wanted to prove we're still Alabama even without Saban. And if we beat Georgia, we prove it, And that was just the general fan feel that I had going into it. Mm-hmm. Georgia fans feel that way this year. Georgia fans feel that way, right? Yeah. So they want it so bad. They want to be able to not have to hear 1-9 or 1-6 or whatever any other number that you want to put in a series like this, even though the two teams haven't met in Athens in 10 years. It's just the fans want it so bad. So could the team come out so amped up that it backfires? They're tight tents, turn the ball over, and even if Alabama's not the better team, you give them short fields, right? Yeah. And crazy things happen. I mean, Alabama can absolutely win this game. But like I said, I made my prediction based on the fact that it's about Georgia. If Georgia does what Georgia is supposed to do, then I think Georgia can win this football game. But, I've said that for the last couple of years. So it is what it is.
A lot of things have to go right, I think, for Alabama to go into Athens and win that game.
I do too, but to Randy's point, Alabama is playing with a monkey on their back right now because of what happened in week 1 at FSU. All the talk that you're hearing out of Tuscaloosa is proving that, hey, that's not who we are. Now FSU is a good football team this year. Anybody who says otherwise, it hasn't actually watched them, or they don't understand the game. FSU is a very good football team this year.
We did touch on this, by the way, Cotton.
Did you? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize.
No. Go ahead. It's the first thing we said. That's my biggest question about Alabama. Is that who you are?
Who are we?
Yeah. But I think that, to your point, like, they have an opportunity to go in Athens and try to prove that. Like, okay, this is who we are. Because whether we want to admit it or not, right now, in the public eye, in the media eye, like, I'm not saying Alabama's down, but Georgia's definitely a notch ahead, just because the consistency, and then Nick Saban's gone. So if Alabama can go in there and get a win, doesn't matter how big of a win, doesn't matter if it's like last year, a close game, it doesn't matter if it's a dominant win, like it bodes well Alabama moving forward. And obviously those two teams will likely play each other again at some point in time. I think if Alabama goes in there and beats Georgia. So that's probably a big statement, but
I think the thing that both teams have to know, and by teams, I actually mean fan bases. Sure. The thing that we have to know is that it really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter if you win or lose, right? Because clearly it does matter. Mm-hmm. But it's a game, right? It's just one. So as much as I want to say this determines, the immediate future in this series for Georgia, right? I have framed it that way in other discussions. As much as I want to say that, the fact is it's still just one game. And it could be funky weather. We don't know for sure. We'll wait and see. We don't know, dudes. But I know it's going to be. I know it's going to be on tilt. I know it's going to be sideways. I know that much.
Sure.
Well, and it's for the fan base too. I think it's way more important for the fan base than it really is, especially with expanded playoffs. Either team could lose this game and still make the playoffs, and still win playoff games, still play. This game isn't make or break the season like it used to be. Remember back in the day, Randy, you lose in week 3, you got to win out or it's over, and it's probably over anyway.
Yep.
If you lose, it was all about when you lost back in the day. If you lost in week 10, you were definitely done. But now I think, being able to lose once or twice and still have a shot. But so I think for the fan base, it's heightened.
To the reality of the CFP situation, I do think now that Alabama already has the one loss around their neck, right? If you take another loss here, the good and the bad of that is you've taken another loss, so now you are up against it for sure. Or the positive side of that is look at how difficult the rest of your schedule is proving or looks as we sit here now. I mean, you're looking at a Vanderbilt team, a Tennessee team, who are really going to be competitive, right? So, I mean,
Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn. We'll see how good they are. So there's an opportunity for you to still, if you managed to win out, then 10-2, and you're like, okay, they got to win over a Tennessee team that's pretty good, so on and so forth. And Georgia, like you said, they have today the luxury of having a little bit more wiggle room. You've got a game and especially if Georgia goes out and wins, if they beat Alabama, now you really are playing with house money because you've got
absolutely
Ole Miss, Texas coming to Athens. I mean, it's you got Florida. Florida's going to fight. I just don't think they've got enough going on to be able to beat Georgia this year, but they're going to fight. So it's there's a lot on the line, both for the fan base and college football in general. There's no way around that.
Yeah, it's prime time. Kind of surprised game day went to Notre Dame, Penn State, or whatever that.
I'm not. It's a top 10 matchup. I'm not shocked about that.
I can see it.
Maybe a top 10 matchup, but you know where the Moxie is going to be Saturday night.
I can see it both ways. I can see it both ways. I mean, yeah, that's games on NBC and it's in the Big Ten. So ABC owns the SEC. It seems like you would promote it. I think that's Alabama's fault, though. I think the loss at Florida State sort of put a dagger in it.
Yeah.
They're still going to send SEC Nation, it looks like. I think I saw that. So given the choice, I would actually rather SEC Nation be here than game day. But, that's just my personal preference.
Yeah, we got the game day curse. Alabama's record isn't too great when game day is involved.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And there's still opportunities. I mean, Alabama's got LSU coming to town at some point. Texas is playing at Georgia at some point. So there's still plenty of opportunities for both of them to get game day on campus.
And there's so much football left to play, especially after the way this weekend. Nuts this weekend. I mean, our picks probably look awful.
It's crazy because so much has happened already, and it is September.
3 or 4.
And
for everything that we think we know, I think there's just as much that we think that we clearly don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, because I know LSU won big on Saturday, but was that impressive to you that somehow they figured out their offensive situation? I don't know.
Yeah. Same thing with Miami. They moved Miami up to number 2, and I don't understand. It was 14-7 going, halfway through the fourth quarter of that game. They did not look impressive.
I thought Miami was going to walk away with that game, and then they just never could put it away. And next thing you know, it's 13-7, and I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
bonkers, man.
It is sideways out there for sure.
That's
parodies come to college football. Thank you, transfer portal. And so, all right. So, Randy, just kind of looking at some things. I'm a numbers guy. I like looking at the numbers, and I know that sample sizes are still pretty small. Alabama's only played 3 games. Georgia's played 3 games. So there's not a ton to go by, but in just kind of looking positionally, I see something. I want to go back to a point that, I'm trying to prepare Alabama fans because, again, there's this narrative out there that Georgia can't throw the ball. And I've heard it. I've seen it all over social media, mostly from Alabama fans. But I want to remind folks, Georgia's 39th in the country in passing offense right now. They're throwing for like 261 a game. Alabama's throwing for 335 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you combine that with Georgia being able to run the football, Alabama has not been able to run the football.
That's a worry for me.
We go back to that pass rush that you were talking about and how important that's going to be in this game.
Well, it goes both ways. I mean, the thing to watch about Gunnar Stockton, listen, I don't know, maybe you've heard me say this before. I have not at any point had reservation about Gunnar Stockton as Georgia's quarterback. Just don't. I'm not concerned. And so far, in the opportunities he's had to do it when it mattered, he has shown us he's completely capable. And he's got intangibles too. Stand in the pocket, take a helmet to the chin, hit a dude over the middle for a third down conversion against Tennessee in a key moment. So he's got all of that stuff going on. The intangible part, he knows what to do in the system. It's his fourth year. He throws a better deep ball than he does a short ball, and there are reasons for that. So that part I'm not concerned about. He has to have guys help him, though, just like Ty has to have guys help him. When you hit them in the hands, they got to catch it. And he's got weapons out there.
That would be ideal.
That would be ideal. He's got weapons out there that he can get the ball to. So if they are able to run the football, speaking from a Georgia perspective, if they are able to run the football and they stay stubborn with it and the play action works and the scheme works and all that, there's nothing to point to and say he can't done. His arm is completely better than average. He knows what to do in the system. He's got playmakers all over the field. Georgia's problem is specifically the right side of the offensive line. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're both injured and young. And against Tennessee, that was a bit of a turnstile because guys were giving it all they had, but they were beat up. And then you're getting to true freshmen, some of which didn't get on campus until June, who were playing in that game. So if that is a better situation for Georgia at Alabama, which again, off the top, I said, this comes at a good time for Georgia. They can get a little rest and get healed up a little bit. If they can do that, then I feel much better about that situation on the right side. And that means I feel even better about what Gunnar can do. If that is still a problem, especially right tackle, then you're really going to see Gunnar's flaws as a quarterback. And that is, yes, he can run and move the pocket, and that's a big part of his game. But when he pulls the ball down to scramble, it's usually 50-50. Are you running to run or are you running to throw? And so far this year, he's been running to run. If he can get his eyes up and look down the field, there are big plays to be had.
Sure, yeah.
That just hasn't been the thing that he's done yet so far.
Yeah.
So that's one key if he's moving. Which is he doing? Running to run or run to throw?
Mm-hmm.
The other part is he has had a habit so far of, especially when he's in the gun, still drifting back and putting his tackles in a bad position.
Yeah.
You got to climb that pocket and deliver the football. And he was like 50-50 on that against Tennessee. You can see where he looks brilliant doing that, what you're supposed to do. And then you can see where he walks right into the pressure. And, he just has to clean that part up. So there are things that he is, guilty of. Being able to put the ball down the field to his receivers is not one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a threat.
Yeah, no, he absolutely
He's
is.
definitely
He is. And it's interesting because everything that you've kind of brought up that you feel like is, I don't want to say an issue, but a concern, like, a point of observation for you about Gunnar Stockton. On the other hand, in our situation with Ty Simpson's done pretty well with those things. And he, it's a surprise to a lot of people, but a lot of folks that have kind of watched him, we knew it was coming when he got his time. I think there was some kind of political things maybe behind the scenes as to why Jalen Milroe got the start over him last year, but that's another video. However, I just find it interesting because for us, Ty Simpson's been progressing. However, there's still, I think the verdict's still out a little bit because we saw the progression against Louisiana Monroe and now against a Wisconsin team that we now know is not very good. Great pass rush, great run defense, but in terms of their secondary, they're not good. But we got the luxury of watching Ty sit in there and take a couple on the chin. That one throw to Ryan Williams was pretty nice, man. But so in terms of, I want to ask you this, and you don't have to answer it, but let's just go through. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball, right? And in terms of offensive line, who gets the check for you in terms of advantage? Georgia, Bama.
That's the only reason I'm balking is because I just don't know who's going to line up for Georgia, right?
Fair.
So
Fair.
if
we don't
if
know
I
who's
could,
lining up for us either.
if I know that Juan Gaston is at guard and that Green is healthy at tackle, then I would probably give, based on what I've seen so far this year, I would probably give Georgia the edge there because and understandably I haven't focused in on Alabama as close, but from what I have seen, Proctor still doesn't look like the dominant player you think he's capable of being, and the right side of that offensive line to me seems to have underperformed. So, I don't know if that's injury and experience. I don't know, but that's the way it looks. So I would say Georgia.
No. Yeah, I would agree. I do think that we're going to do some shuffling up on our line too. Michael Carroll, freshman, could potentially get some significant playing time, and then Jaden Roberts over there on the right side. So we'll see what that looks like. Now in quarterbacks, we were just talking about quarterbacks. I would give Alabama the check mark right now, the advantage, just because I've seen it. What the things that you were talking about, I've seen Ty Simpson do those. And again, that's not a knock at Gunnar Stockton. I think Gunnar Stockton can do those things. I think that he's still kind of he's learning, just like most quarterbacks. But I think Ty Simpson, in terms of being able to, get out of the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, still reading through progressions and things like that, he's a little bit further along. Would you agree with that?
I don't know about just being specific about your words, reading progressions and all that. I don't know that he's further along. I will say that he has shown us that he can clearly do it if he's given time and make a good throw. So, I don't have an issue with saying Ty Simpson gets the edge here, but that's based simply off of what you just stated. Like, if we're talking about the primary feature in Alabama's offense, which is the pass game, he's executing it at a really good level, so then there you go. And I think that's fine. So before we move on though, here's the sort of underbelly of the quarterback question for Georgia. And I want to know what Alabama thinks about Ty, because the consensus around Gunnar Stockton and Georgia is that he is the perfect fit for what Georgia is and wants to be right now. As far as how he is in the locker room, as far as what he is in the scheme, like what they're going to ask him to do, the options they give him. Would you guys say that Ty Simpson is that kind of fit for Alabama right now based on what they want to do? Or is he more, and I'm just going to use Georgia's last year as an example, Carson Beck, fantastic player, not exactly the perfect fit for what they wanted to do. They tried to do what he was good at, but it wasn't what they wanted to do. So where would you put Ty on that?
It's a tricky question because I think we're in this limbo, right? Where we want a guy to come out and do what Mac Jones did in 2020. However, Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb probably want a quarterback who's going to do what Michael Penix Jr. did at Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't know that Ty can do that, but I think he can be Mac Jones. And I think right now, because you've got this clash of player, you still got a bunch of Nick Saban era guys that Nick Saban was recruiting, and then you've got these Kalen DeBoer guys. I think it still works. I don't know if it's going to work long term. Next year, I think it's probably going to have to be a Keelan Russell, just because he does fit that Michael Penix Jr. But I think in terms of with the wide receivers that Alabama has and getting the ball to them efficiently, especially compared to what happened last year offensively, I think, Ty Simpson's exactly what we're looking for. Now, ask me that question again, and I'll tell you what the fan base is saying when he throws his first interception.
Now, is that an X's and O's assessment, or is that a fan base feel good assessment? Because mine was kind of both. Like
a little bit of both. A little bit of both. I think that they would like him to be like. Don't forget, Ty Simpson was a dual threat guy coming out of high school. Yeah, 5-star dual threat quarterback. However, when I've seen him run, he's a little bit slower and maybe not as athletic as I think they would like him to be. Mm-hmm. But we haven't really seen that featured yet, to be honest. So
keep in mind, we have been watching Milroe run for 2 years. So really any quarterback running is going to seem slow.
Right.
Watching.
That's true too.
Because where Milroe's slip ups, he was one of the fastest pure runners I've ever seen. And so
poor Ty is not ever going to look fast if he's following him.
Right.
I think what you're kind of getting at, Randy, we had that situation with Jalen Milroe last year. They tried to force him to be a throw first quarterback, a pass first option, and he was not that. I think Nick Saban tried to do the same thing with him, and he was not that. He was a run first quarterback. If he couldn't run, and Ryan Williams wasn't running down the field wide open,
We had problems.
He had one excellent game. Yeah, he had one excellent game, and that was against you guys. And so, outside of that, it was rough. So I think we've kind of moved on past that. And I think it's schematically, Ty Simpson's a pretty good fit. Okay. I don't think he's exactly what they want, but I think he's about as close as they could get with the type of leadership and maturity that they need.
That's funny you asked that, because there some last year as the season was progressing, I said on the show a couple of times, like I'm not entirely sure that Ty isn't the better fit for what the kind of offense they want to run. And so while Jalen was getting all the QB1 snaps, we're sitting around here going, I understand why he's getting them. It's like, but I'm not entirely sure that the right guy is running the offense the way it's designed to be run. And I think we're seeing a little bit more of that. Like I said, the Florida State game was, I think that's the worst game you'll see under DeBoer. As bad as we looked at a couple games last year, no game last year looked as pitiful as that game against Florida State in terms of effort, toughness, tackling, and so I don't think we'll ever play that bad again. I'm not saying that we're not going to have bad games the rest of the year, but I don't think we're going to play that poorly top to bottom. I mean, that whole thing was just a firestorm.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, I think that
it's a good question though. I think that's a very good.
And we
question.
have no idea who we are. Yeah, we don't know. We beat up on the little guys. So far that's who we are. But when somebody our own size punches us in the face, we haven't shown any fight.
That's true, and that's why people are antsy about this game, because Georgia's more than capable of punching Alabama in the mouth,
big time.
Them being on the road at Georgia, there's not a lot of faith that they're going to be able to respond well to that.
It's going to be a raucous environment.
Yeah, that was I want to know what you guys feel about that, because again, it is a different animal than it was the last time Alabama showed up, in 2015. So I'm curious, just based off of what I saw against FSU, I have the same question. Do you guys feel confident? Because it's going to be sideways, and hopefully I'll get to be there. Hopefully I'll get to hear the sound for firsthand on the field. If that's the case, then I will report back. But I just know that I expect it to be crazy loud, like 2013 LSU or 2022 Tennessee or something.
I'm sure it's going to be rock.
I am not confident in our ability to go into that environment and win.
I'm not either. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I've got to see it. I need to see it firsthand. Yeah. I need to see them go and handle some adversity. I'm not gonna get my hopes up about it until I see it. They looked terrible on the road last year, except for at LSU and Wisconsin. They couldn't handle Vanderbilt on the road last year. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say, if last season's game was in Athens, Alabama probably loses that game, and so.
Yeah, well, we will find out. I mean, I know that, again, going back to that point about the fan bases wanted it so much. I know that Georgia, their fan base really, really wants it. So we'll see. They're going to show up. I don't have any doubt about that.
And then the flip side of the coin is, I will say that's something that fans are going to be watching, because if they can go into Athens and they can handle the environment and they can come out swinging and go toe-to-toe with Georgia, then I mean, that all that's going to do is tell us, okay, this team is doing what we expect them to do, right? Preseason, I talk about this all the time. We had guys who know more about football than I'll ever know in my life, folks that were privy to fall camp, and that everybody walked away talking about how good this Alabama team was. Josh Pate is one of them. How good this Alabama team was. They can't all collectively be wrong, or maybe they can, but it's hard. It's hard for me to imagine that they're all wrong. So they saw something to where they're all in agreement. Like, hey, people are picking Alabama to win the Natty preseason.
I think, yes, they could totally be right. My question about Alabama, much like it was about Georgia going to Tennessee, is the mental toughness question. That's it. Because there's no doubt this team is a quality football team. Their first 22. That is not the debate here. The debate is much like you guys said. If they're jumping off sides, if they're not executing, if they turn the ball over, whatever, are they going to be able to fight for 4 quarters and answer the bell and give effort, the same at the end as they do at the beginning? That's the question, because you can have a beautiful car, right? But if the sound system's garbage, then it's still a beautiful car, right? I mean, that's the way it is. So you can have a great looking team that runs around, looks great in the underwear Olympics, and then you take one on the jaw and it changes you a little bit. So
it changes everything.
Yeah, we're gonna find out
for Georgia. Yeah,
we're gonna find out, because it's gonna happen. Even if Alabama replicates what they did last season in the first half of that Georgia game, if they're able some way to go into Athens and replicate that, at some point in time, they're still going to get hit on the jaw. And I mean, they're going to have an opportunity to show this fan base, hey, look, we are what they said we were. FSU was a fluke. We're going to, so we'll see. But the verdict's still out. And that's just me being as honest. I want to believe it. I want to buy in. But I haven't seen Kalen DeBoer squad look good on the road yet, outside of LSU, and all they had to do was run Jalen Milroe the entire game. So, yeah, I got to see it, man. I've got to see it. But I will say it's always good to be able to talk to Georgia folks, especially content creators, about this game in particular, because there's when you were on with us last time, there's just this mutual respect, like, to where I feel like Georgia fans and Alabama fans can kind of talk about football under this umbrella of respect, to where it's a real conversation. It's we're not, I don't know. It's not like talking about Tennessee fans or Auburn fans, LSU fans. So I just want to say I really do appreciate the conversation, because it's about football, man, and it's nice to be able to talk about it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to, I would advise both of us, though, to not run into the comments and start swinging. Just stay out of there.
Yeah, 100%, man. Look, if you're in the comment section, have at it.
No, it's not safe in there.
Leave a big thumbs up. Just kidding. But
right.
Yeah, so
Randy, appreciate you taking your time today on Sunday afternoon, brother, man. This is a good. I'm glad we made this connection. So we can tap into each other's fan base, for things like this. So we do appreciate you joining us on a Sunday afternoon. Cotton, if you have anything you want to add before we let Randy go.
Yeah, Randy, tell everybody where they can find you. It's on the screen, but just in case.
Yes.
Well, there you go. If it's on the screen, then we're all good. It is the How About That Dogs Cast, and it is just an @ symbol before HBTFDAWGSCAST, right? So people seem to like what we're doing over there. We do talk Georgia all the time, though, but we do it in a way that I think is from a different perspective, and we try to be as informative as we can be. And everybody's welcome until they show us that they shouldn't be. So there you go. Come on over and hang out.
Before we go, I gotta tell you, you inspired me after the last time you were on the show. So thank you for that inspiration, sir.
You are quite welcome.
Hats off to you. Thanks for hanging out with us, Randy. Fantastic.
Thanks, Randy.
Great. Guys, please go over and check out Randy's channel. You can follow him on social media as well. He's in a lot of our circles. Herb and Raj, I think you're doing like 8 shows this week with them. You can't miss
that
him.
way.
He's all
high
over
demand.
But you guys know the drill. As always, please say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. Horns down. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too, and hopefully Georgia.
And Georgia too.
Go Dogs.
See you guys. Mic was muted. Okay, that was our interview with Randy from Sunday. We appreciate Randy hopping on, joining us, giving us his Sunday afternoon. I've got some co-hosts in the mix, so let me bring on some assistants here. Our man Chris, Horns down. And our good friend of the show, Mr. Tobias. Chris, you're muted. Let me get Chris some sound. There, we got some sound. What's up, gentlemen?
Guys?
Tobias, you with us?
There you
Yeah,
go.
hopefully it works because I bought the new one and Amazon wants to deliver them to Saturday.
So we couldn't hear you real well. I think you said Amazon's going to deliver them Saturday, I think is what you said. But yes, very, very choppy. So work on that, T. I'm going to pop you out and then work on that and we'll get you back in. Anyway, what's up, Chris? Good to see you. What's up, everyone in the chat? Thank you for hanging through that whole interview. That was about 40 minutes with Randy. I appreciate everybody sitting through that. That was a great chat with him. He's a great guest. Has a lot of good inside info with Georgia, and also, he's an analyst. He's a football guy, so he pays attention to other teams as well. So, what's going on, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
Man, we tooling along. I'm a little sore tonight, but I'll be okay.
That's right. All right, Tobias, you with us
Oh,
now?
he's
Let's
back.
try this again.
Yeah, I was saying that Amazon said, "Oh yes, your order's gonna be in on Saturday now." Like, great.
Oh. Yeah, so much for that free overnight shipping, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So some interesting things that Randy had to share. I'm always going to pick Bama with my heart. That's just what I do. So I think as bad as we've looked on the road in DeBoer's 7 road games, 2-5, that's not very
Not good.
warm and fuzzy. I think
I have a
we
good
can go in and
feeling
win.
about this weekend, though.
Something's telling me that we can go in there and win this game. Now, if we get beat, I'm not going to sit here and go, I cannot believe we lost that game. I can't believe it.
Right.
But maybe we go in there and pull this thing off. Things are starting to click offensively. Ty got a little confidence. That's a big deal. Give your quarterback a little bit of confidence. Give him a little bit of time and some confidence, and you got yourself a weapon.
Yep.
And Bama's loaded on the outside with weapons. Tennessee was throwing all over the lot.
And if I'm not mistaken, won't Georgia be down an offensive lineman this week?
Yes, Green, I think.
Yeah,
I think J-Bag mentioned earlier.
You put the right matchup in there, and he's going to get whoever's in there going to get pushed around all day.
I mean, I think they're going to use Quay as
they need to.
Pretty much a dedicated pass rusher on Saturday, which I'd love to see that.
They definitely need to.
Yeah,
You're right. And one thing though about Ty, the big difference between him these past 2 games and FSU, he's throwing on time.
Yes.
The ball's coming out because this offense. The one perk about living in Phoenix is I get to watch the Pac-12 after dark games.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
sorry.
So I watched. So those Washington games, right? It was all about getting the ball out, precision passing, timing passing, and I think since Ty's been throwing the ball on time, that has really helped out his offense. And before anyone says that was just Wisconsin, want to have a good defense, but also if Alabama won 24-17, folks would have been squawking, wanting to send Kalen DeBoer back to Sioux Falls.
Oh yeah,
you can't win.
Oh yeah, he had to blow them out. If it was, I mentioned to Randy in the show, like if that had been a 21-17 game, like Rome would have been burning.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to do that to those 2 opponents, those 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you need stuff like that, like we just mentioned earlier, Chris. Like you need to build the confidence of your quarterback, and
you have to.
Even if it's against lesser competition, he needs to have success. He needs to take the snap, read it, make the throw, catch the throw. He needs to be able to, it's like a shooter in basketball, a shooter gets hot when he sees the shot go in. They got to see it go in. When Steph Curry sees the shot go in, it's trouble. So in my opinion, it's like the same with a quarterback. You got to see the throw. You got to see the route. You got to see the throw being caught. You got to see it being caught and turned up, not reach down for it, not reach back for it, not in the ground. You've got to see the play, see the throw, through see the catch, and know, hey, I can make this throw. I can do this. You give me 3 seconds to throw, and I'm going to light these guys up. And I think that's a big key. If we can give Ty time to throw the football and read the field, we are going to put up some yards and points on this defense. Now, can we stop anyone? That's another question, but that's my thought.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And one thing also, with, people talk about the run game and run blocking. I'm just going to say it, and I'm going to be the bad guy here. Neither Daniel Hill nor Richard Young are that good. I hate to say it, just being real, because we never heard about run blocking when it came to Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because the great back, he can turn a 3-yard hole into 6 or 7 yards. Those guys, they ain't done it. They had 3 games. So Jam Miller, I think he could do that. He could also catch out the backfield and pass protection. And I know it's Georgia. May have to put A.K. Deer in there because that kid has some juice. Bingo. He could break it because I'm sorry. Because sometimes it's like I always say, like in the wild, with Mama Bird, teach Baby Bird how to fly, goes flat. It's a running back. You need some juice. You need some big plays. And these other 2 guys in 3 games, and we're talking about against a lot of mode, they couldn't break anything. So that's sometimes you have to put the young guy in because I think those 2 are transferring anyway. Let's see what the young guy's going to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think Georgia. I think they're gonna watch last year's film over and over, and they're gonna target our wide receivers. We know what Ryan Williams did to them last year. They're gonna target Jeremy Bernard, and I think that will open the box up and open the run game up. And then if it opens the run game up and they start stacking the box, that's when we can burn them downfield. I think that's something we need to see. We need to see the pass set up the run, and in turn the run set up the pass after the fact.
Totally agree.
We've got the talent
downfield. You're right.
Yeah, we've got the talent. As long as they don't put Ryan and they put Hollywood in the slot, we're done.
Yeah.
Maybe
one thing, guys. I got credit Bud Elliott for cover 3 on this. He made a point that Kalen DeBoer's offense has carved up the saber tree of defenses. Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and probably because they can exploit those matchups.
Interesting point.
And at Alabama, let's be real, since Kirby's gotten there, they have been throwing the ball on Georgia. And I think when you run the ball, I say, look at that in SEC championship with the one that Bryce Young beat them with. We only had one good running back because everybody got hurt, but they still ran the ball at times. You still have to do it at times, but they have a diverse receiving core. It's not all the same type of guys like a basketball team. And you got guys with Brooks and Williams, you give them the ball in space. You got Bernard, the chain mover. You got Horton, the jump ball guy. And our tight end, Cuevas, sorry, guys, that's a West Coast guy who's a great route runner and is physical. And I'm just being real. I just think that maybe we also got to see Michael Carroll and Jaden Roberts. I don't think we'll
some attitude. We need some physicality on the offensive line. We have not been a physical offensive line in years. Since 2020 really was the last physical offensive line that we had. So that is a big thing to me. Is getting the physicality in the offensive, getting that push back. We don't get any push on the offensive line when we run the ball. We don't get any push. So give me the guys in there that are mean and nasty. You got to have an edge to you to play an offensive line, man. You got to think 2 feet past it, 2 feet past the guy. You got to put him you got to block 2 feet past him. And we just haven't been able to do that. So, this is no shot at Gino or Formby, but they're just not getting the push that we need to be able to consistently run the ball. And I think until we can get even on like short runs, they're not getting any push, which is why I agree with you about A.K. Deer. He is an explosive playmaker. He's got to be on the field. You can't keep these explosive playmakers on the bench, even if it's only a play or two or just one wheel route or something. You've got to have him be accounted for. Like Lottie Brooks, man, you've got to put him in the rotation or something. He's got to be accounted for.
Yep. And that's the thing, because part of the run game is your push. That's your attitude. And let's say Michael Carroll gets beat on the pass rush. So be it. It happens. Those guys put their pants on one leg at a time, like they always say. They get paid just like our guys. They're 4 and 5 stars too. People are going to get beat at times. But I'd rather get beat with the talent and the push and the attitude. And that's something right there, because we've seen it. 3 games already. How much more do we need? And I think you got to stick with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I make no attempts to hide my non-confidence in our defensive coordinator. I don't have any faith that he can go over there and devise a scheme that'll stop the run, that'll do anything other than what we've seen for, what is this now, 17 games, 16 games? So I think our offense is going to be the key to this game. We've got to stay on the field and move the ball. I mean, these are like Captain Obvious, you got to score more points than the other team if you want to win the game. That's my expert analysis. But I think it's got to be offensively. I don't, we may make a play on the back end on defense, but I just don't trust that we can come up with a scheme that is a dominant force. I think we could make a play here and there, but I think they'll be able to move the ball consistently. We're just going to have to keep them in between the 20s.
I think I know the problem is. The swarm D, yes, you swarm to the ball, but you're not playing keys. And that's susceptible to get beat by those teams like the FSU or Vanderbilt, things of that sort. Maybe, just maybe, these guys just have to do their job, stay in their lane. If they beat you that way, that's fine. But the other key is when you say get off the field on third down, it's not just a stop. It is not the dumb penalties that keep the drive going. The only thing I will say about FSU, 2 of their touchdowns came because Alabama committed a penalty on third down that kept the drive going.
Dude,
they were off the field.
It was a 1-score game. It was 24-17 when James Smith went Ric Flair and they got a 15-yard first down. They scored a touchdown on that drive. It was a 7-point game. That's a punt. Florida State's punt ball to us. We're down 7 after that sack. If James Smith doesn't do the Ric Flair elbow drop on the quarterback, that was a huge penalty. I was so furious when that happened. I blacked out.
Remember the first touchdown, the pass where they burnt Dijon and got the touchdown afterwards. That was off a pass of some defensive holder and we didn't even see. So you got to get people off the field because it's a good team and a proud team in Georgia. You can't give them extra opportunities. Now with pass interference, it's objective. You can live with that. But when it comes to jumping on somebody like you, Dusty Rhodes, that's a different animal.
That was, I was so mad. I swear I blacked out. Like I about lost my mind. I was like, I feel it. It's the burst in my head. The vein burst. Yeah, it was that was like that Texas game and Will Anderson was getting all those that stupid penalty for when he ran over there and knocked that dude over after the play. Oh my gosh, I about came off my chair.
Man, if we can stay away from stupid penalties, I think we'll be okay. I think the defense can stop Georgia. I think they can stop the run. I think they can force Gunner to throw, and I think they can force him into mistakes. But
you're way more confident than me.
No, I think we've got the talent to. It's the execution. I think we really, if it was me, we'd have 4 men on the line every down. Every down.
In some form.
Whether
it's 3-4, 4-3, however you want to do it, I'm with you. Yes.
I mean, even if you got 3 on the line, you move a linebacker up to something. Rush.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially if their tackle's out. Randy, you're in the chat. Is the tackle out? Yeah.
Unless you got 4 wideouts and nobody in the backfield.
Lance isn't high on JJ here. He's been firing shots at him for a little while here. Okay, just because he got decleated against Florida State that time, hopefully it doesn't continue.
You know that time was only what 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
it soiled his rep because now that's the only thing everybody talks about is the fact that he got decleated by the fullback or tight end. Yeah, that's probably coming. They tried him at slot. He got knocked out, so they'll move him somewhere else. Take a shot.
Oh man, Hollywood, poor Hollywood.
Yes, Randy. Was it Green? Is Green the tackle out? I think somebody said earlier in the chat that Green, the right tackle, was out, or left tackle. Is he right or left tackle? I can't remember. So I mean, this is setting up to be yes, okay, Green. Randy said
now
Green.
have they do they have Keenan listed as probable or questionable or what?
They may be going the old Belichick route. Belichick had Brady on the injured list for like 10 or 12 straight years.
I don't know. I saw a list came out yesterday or today, but I can't remember if they had him listed as probable.
I think he's probable because he's on the. I think he's probable. And then there's the two guys that are out. Latham.
Yeah, we may see him. Beeman. He may get a limited number of snaps, but I think we may see him situational.
Eric, I love this. Randy wouldn't like it, but I would love it.
Yeah,
I would love it. Yes, I would love that.
Just go ahead and open it up. Just
try it.
I think somebody, one of you guys, I think said in our group text that, I think they think the key to it would be Bama to score quick and get the ball back quick.
Mm-hmm.
And
that helps any game plan if you score and force a turnover immediately.
And if we get up, if Bama can get up 10-0 quick, Georgia may not have a chance. And I was talking.
You get up 10-0, it's got to be 17-0, and then 20 or 24.
I've got a customer that he's a Georgia fan. It's like he told me. He said he has no faith in them. He said because they played Tennessee, but what did that prove?
Yeah.
Was it two average teams that made it a good game, or was it two really good teams that made it a good game?
I think it was two good teams just trading punches.
But are they? I mean, who can you say?
But we don't know who the good teams are. Really, nobody's played anyone.
Yeah, nobody has proven themselves.
Yeah, like these first 3 weeks of the season haven't really proven anything. They haven't really shown us anything. I think right now we're about to get into now we'll find out in the next month who is who.
I think week 6 or 7 it'll show the separation there.
Yes. And this play J-Bag's talking about right here. Go back and watch that. Go back and watch that play. I'm not gonna lie, that is the most perfectly executed play we've run since DeBoer has been here. When you had so many people had to do one thing for that to line up, where you had 5 offensive linemen 15 yards ahead of Williams running down the field, and then you get Proctor on a safety. What a beautiful design.
And the best thing about that play was no penalty for man downfield. That play you get that easily. So that's where some of that discipline may come into play. Because I know everybody's talking about the road record. One, Alabama kind of sucked down the road the last years of Saban, but they just won the games.
Yeah, they won the games.
Yeah, so here's the thing. After a while, are you going to be tired of, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? The media after Florida State pretty much said Alabama ain't ish. I ain't cuss because I don't want y'all demonetized. So, so those players got pride. That coaching staff has pride. And I'm going to say something else. Besides defensive coordinator and possibly D-line coach, this has been the best Bama staff in years. The wide receivers has been better for best receiver core in years. The cornerback, the DBs are awesome. We have young talent on the offensive line because how many offensive line coaches Saban went through at the end? That's probably a talent and evaluation issue in recruiting. So we see the young talent, but I think with this team, you got pride. Everybody's saying go down there. Georgia will have a coordination, and y'all will sit there and roll over and die. That is what the media is pretty much saying in a lot of cases. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing on the road? Get your butt kicked. If you lose, you lose.
Well,
but you don't roll over. That's all.
Here's the way I look at it. Let's quit playing conservative. You know what's that old saying? No guts, no glory.
No brisket, no biscuit.
Put it all on the field and leave it there.
Do not coach in your fears.
No.
I've been living with a coach in the NFL that's been doing that for a decade plus. Is coaching in his fears, and that is you can't go on the road and win a big game coaching in your fears. You've got to coach to win the game, not to lose it. You got to coach to win it.
Yep.
So
and you know, and I
attack your fears.
I hate to say this. You know who coached that way? Gus Malzahn.
Mm-hmm.
He lost
threw
every championship game in 2013.
Yeah, but he throws everything out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Until that game against Florida State, and then he went conservative in the half. The one half his whole career, he went conservative was that game, and it cost him a championship.
But that's what he did to us when we played them, 4 weeks ago or however long.
You got a fan out here, Chris.
I'm not. I fake it till I make it.
But
yes, I agree here, BG. This game is going to tell us a lot on the road too. Like, does this team have the balls to continue? Because we got some tough road games coming up. We go home away the next month and a half. Missouri, South Carolina, say what you will. Those are tough games to go win in the SEC. So this is a huge game for us, I think.
Yep.
Maybe not win-loss, like you said, Tobias. Saban would have played bad on the road, but they won the games.
Yep.
So, like, we need to, even if we lose, we need to at least go in and show some balls, show some moxie in here. And if we lose a tough game, so be it. That's the SEC. You're going to lose tough games in the SEC. You're going to win, but you got to be able to win some too. And this is where I need to see us be able to win a tough game on the road.
I think if we win this one, I think we got a chance to win out.
We got a chance. We got the talent.
We do.
We got the tools. Can they put it together?
That's the thing, guys. That's the thing about putting it together. And like you said, Jeff, and like Chris, also, you got to just empty the clip. If you don't trust those guys and let it fly, why are they in the game? That's my thing.
Put in somebody you do.
There you go.
If Ty throws a pick, I don't care. Because, hey, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I've seen Jameis Winston throw some WTF picks. So sometimes defense makes a play. But
although you got your good one now.
Yeah, we got Baker, baby. We're beating the Eagles.
Man, speaking of Jameis, I don't mean to cut you off. I seen something video last night. It said something, and it was like it was a video of Shrek and Donkey sitting there singing to him, and it said, "This is Russell Wilson sitting next to Jameis Winston on the bench this season."
That's about right.
Yeah,
that's about right.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying though. But the thing is, you have to play your game, and I think with this team, I think Keenan being an on-field leader and emotional leader is going to help. If he's 80%, that's great because, and the cool thing, and I hate to say it this way, it's a silver lining with his injury and Jam's injury. We discovered Kevin Riley, for example. He's getting 5 yards carry. And London Simmons, he's young, but he sees a potential with this kid. So now you got a rotation there. And I think you have, like Chris said, you got to unload that clip. If you're going to lose, I'd rather lose with no bullets in the gun.
Got to say, never lose with bullets in the chamber.
Yeah, don't be like Deion Sanders at week 1. You lose the game with 2 timeouts left. You know?
I don't know what was more preposterous, that or his explanation after the game.
Yes.
If anybody wants a good funny clip, go listen to that. go to YouTube and listen to Prime's explanation after that game about why he didn't use his timeouts with a clock running down at the end of the game when they needed points.
Yeah, and I have a hot take for you. He'll be saying he'll be spending time with his family after this season.
Yes, I would agree with that. I don't think he's long for Colorado at all. He's going to wind up the Cowboys coach or wherever Shador is, Cleveland maybe, wherever Shador winds up. Yeah, I'm with you there. So anyway, so that's what we got going to Georgia. We got some other news that came out this week. So our future schedule, SEC schedule reveal happened this week.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Of course, we have our annual opponents. I don't think there should be 3. I think there should be 1 to 2. We don't have 3 rivals. I think really we should just keep Tennessee on the schedule and rotate everybody else. But the state will never allow that because the legislature signed whatever, where we have to play Auburn.
Yeah.
So be it. I personally would like to see Auburn survive on their own and not survive living off Bama's teat. So every like 90% of all their moments are all versus Alabama. Any Auburn lore is always versus Alabama in something. So I would love to not have that on the schedule unless it comes out around in the championship game or it cycles around during this, these cycles here, just so they can live on their own. Because that game, hear me out, is a lose-lose for Alabama. If we win that game by 100, big deal. If we win that game by a point, big deal. If we win that game in any fashion, we're supposed to beat them, big deal. If we don't beat them by 50, it's a win for them and a loss for us. Every game we don't beat them by 50 points is a win for Auburn and a loss for Alabama. So this is a no-win game for Alabama in any stretch, and it's everything or nothing for Auburn.
Yep. And one thing though, I'll say this: I don't like Auburn. I don't like LSU. I absolutely detest Tennessee.
Yes,
it's strong, but
yes.
I know what people talk about. Well, Mississippi State's closer. Guys, these folks flying private. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Travel is not an issue anymore.
Yeah, but
they couldn't do Auburn, Tennessee, LSU for us. Like they've got to keep some type of schedule balance because Auburn got Vandy for crying out loud. Now, Vandy is not your dad's Vandy, but am I nuts or is this a 1-year slot for Vandy? Because Pavia will be gone. Then Clark Lee will get the Florida job, or he'll get some other bigger job if Vandy goes to a bowl game and wins. Clark Lee is getting a bigger job, and Pavia's off to the NFL or the XFL or wherever he's going to play. So I don't think everybody's looking at like, oh, Vandy's a threat now. No, they're a threat this year and last year. Well, last year they weren't really a threat. They just snuck up and won some games, us included. But this year they're a threat. Like I said, if they go 9-3, 10-2, and win a bowl game, Lee's gone to Florida, to some bigger job. The Florida job will be open. The Dolphins job will be open. He might wind up with the Dolphins. I mean, I don't think there's any way Lee is the Vandy coach next year. If they finish strong and win a bowl game, it's the James Franklin deal. Same deal.
Get out while you can. And one thing, the funniest thing I saw about the 2026 schedule, ESPN, like, okay, Alabama, you get Mississippi State, but yeah, we're gonna get Georgia, LSU for that TV money one more time. and how did Tennessee end up with? I know Vandy, Kentucky supposedly rivals, but can we get them to play Georgia or Florida instead of one of those instead of Kentucky?
Right. What do we got? So I mean. All right, so we got next year. We got 4 SEC home games and 5 SEC road games. Okay, that's great. At Vandy, at LSU, at Kentucky, at Tennessee, at Mississippi State, home Georgia, home South Carolina, home Texas A&M. Oof.
Yep. It looks like it rotates 4 or 5 as far as home games.
Yeah, because then we get Florida and Texas next year.
Yep.
And then back at Athens in 28.
Yep.
Oof. At South Carolina, at Texas A&M again. Then we're at Texas again in 29. At Florida. We haven't been to the Swamp. When was the last time we were at the Swamp?
Bryce Young's freshman year. First year as a starter. Yeah.
21.
First year as a starter, yeah.
So the 21 year. So this is this is a gauntlet of schedules. I don't know who our non-con is going to be
Ohio
these
State.
years. But man,
Ohio
this is a
State
gauntlet here.
27.
We're going to have to
27
get
Ohio
some
State.
beef up front and some attitude on the offensive line. We're going to navigate some of this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I got a question. If Greg Byrne is listening, can we cancel the South Florida game next year?
Can we play them next year?
Yes.
How are we on the hook for the year 3 with this?
Yes. And then we got Ohio State in 27, 28.
This is a good question. I do not think. I think money and a big job will do what they do.
You got to get out of there because it is so hard to maintain it at that school over and over again.
I agree. If he stays
gotta get
too
out while you
long,
can.
they'll fire him.
Yep. Get out while you can.
Yeah. If he goes 10 wins and wins a bowl game, his stock will never be higher than it is right then, and he's got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I said Arch Manning shouldn't have played this year. He was already the number 1 pick. He didn't have to play any games. He's only hurting his draft stock by playing games and flexing against Sam Houston State. So he shouldn't have played at all this year. He should have just tapped out, and he'd have been the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they had crowned him already, so he should have just tapped out and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out for my mental health," and then been the number 1 pick next year. That's because he would have been.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's nuts, but yeah, this is a gauntlet of schedule, man. A gauntlet of teams to play. But I'm not gonna lie, there are gonna be some good games to watch these next 4 years. So can we take a minute and have a moment of silence for CBS for passing on the SEC game of the week so they could televise Purdue and Iowa, or Purdue and whoever they played a couple weeks ago or whatever. Like, talk about Clay Travis nailed this. Talk about the biggest fumble in media sports ever. It's CBS not wanting to pony up for the SEC, which they probably are going to make their money back either this year or next year, just in the TV revenue. But look at these next 4 years. I mean, this is just cash cow right here.
Yes.
And what was CBS thinking? My gosh, what was CBS thinking?
It's crazy, guys. And here's my conspiracy theory.
Unbelievable.
They went 4 years because the ACC is going to die in 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah, it will.
Yes. Agreed, Caleb. Yeah. But I mean, like, I sit back and see this going, CBS, you got to be kidding me. And then I turn it on at 2:30 on Saturday, and it's like Purdue versus Illinois or something. And I'm like, what? God. That's like turning on FS1 at 11:30 on a Saturday night and getting, Cal and somebody out west. It's like, jeez.
Well, I turned on ESPN the other morning early, and I think it was on ESPN News, and they were showing like the World Wiffle Ball Championship. It's like, what is this, man?
Hey, respect for the wiffle ball. We all been out in the street playing home run derby with your taped up wiffle ball bat.
yes.
Man,
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, it's 9:20. Sounds to me like it's time to do some picks. Chris, what do you
I
think,
think
buddy?
it is. It's getting late, man. We
Getting
should.
late.
I mean,
So we got to get. We got
it'll
13
just
games.
be us because Cotton and Bill sent me their picks.
Well, you can read off their picks.
We'll worry about that later. They're not here. They don't count.
They don't count.
That's it.
Yeah. See, I agree with Bradley here. Didn't have to play it down. It was the number 1 pick just because of his last name. All right. Game number 1 of 13 that we're picking this week. Oh, whoops. Doink. Oof. Not sure why that happened. Okay. Here's our first game. The Seminoles at the Cavaliers. Let me fix this so we're all full screen here.
I don't know what's happening.
Oh, hang on. I'm getting this set away. I'm getting this set up.
Where's our producer?
We have no producer.
Producers cost money.
Bingo. Lots of it. All right, that's our first game. Florida State at Virginia. Florida State favored by almost a touchdown.
Yep.
So
there we go.
There we go. Sorry about that, y'all. A little technical snafu as
better.
usual. That's what I do. Hard to
Yep.
produce, and all this stuff. Okay, so I got the Seminoles going on the road, taking out Virginia pretty handily. I don't think it's going to be much of a game.
With me, the only thing to worry about is Florida State plays Miami the next week. So if you look at a bet on that one, you might want to bet Virginia. But I think FSU, because this is probably their first real test since Alabama game.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched a lot of Virginia, but I think that but I would have bet on them. But but I think this might be a test for Florida State to handle business. But they have the type of offense with a run game where they can probably control the clock, because they're not a fast-paced offense. It's about they controlling the clock. And I think if they do that, they'll win this game. But all they got to do is win by 1 point. Forget the spread.
Yeah, no, we just picking straight up here. Who you got, Chris?
As bad as I hate to do it, I'm taking Florida State.
We need Florida State to win all their games. Everybody in the chat,
really
everybody, we all need to be rooting for Florida State.
Yep.
Big Fit Seminole fans the rest of the way. All right, game number 2. TCU at the Sun Devils of Arizona State. I think I took the...
That's going to be an interesting game.
I think I took the Sun Devils.
Well,
Hold on, let me find my picks.
wow. I'm taking the Sun Devils because if they win, I'll head down Scottsdale that night. That's my only reason.
Yeah, I had Arizona State.
Yeah,
At home.
I'm going with Arizona State only because it's at home. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
They need it too. They need it badly.
Did they play at Phoenix Stadium? University of Phoenix Stadium?
No, they play what they renamed. It's still Sun Devil Stadium to me.
Yeah.
Just like the Carrier Dome is still the Carrier Dome to me. I don't
Always
care
be a
what you call
Carrier
it.
Dome, man. I don't care what you call it. It's always a Carrier Dome.
Yep.
All right, game number 3. The Trojans. The Troj at Illinois.
And I don't really know how good USC is. So I don't know. I know Illinois got their asses handed to them last week. Indiana.
Yeah.
And just because of that, I'm gonna have to pick USC. So just because Illinois got beat so bad by Indiana.
Yeah, I took USC just off. I believe they'll have better players.
I took Illinois because I heard Lincoln Riley cry about the early kickoff. That's an early body clock game for them, and I think, and plus they're a physical team, and I think Illinois wins this game.
I could see that.
They might.
I took the Trojans. USC is my favorite Trojans.
What's your favorite Trojan?
My favorite Troj. Love the Trojans. All right, our next game is the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Traveling to. Are they playing in Fayetteville or Little Rock? Do they still play games in Little Rock?
I don't know.
Play 1 or 2 games a year in Little Rock.
Let me see where it's at. I can pull that up real quick.
I believe it's Fayetteville. I don't think they play many games in Little Rock anymore. Kind of like Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, how Alabama did.
Yeah, you tuck your Tanian shirt in Little Rock. I tuck your Tanian shirt there.
They're playing in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yep.
Over.
Boy, I took. This was a tough one. I flipped a coin and wound up taking Notre Dame just because Arkansas just got smoked by Memphis. Huh?
You can change it if you want to. You can.
I'm sticking with the Irish. I don't trust the Hogs. What's his name? The Arkansas coach loses more games every year they should win than any coach I've ever seen.
You're right.
So I can't believe he would show up. They'd show up and they'd win this game, but it is in Fayetteville, so that is there's Notre Dame would still be favored by 1.5 if they were neutral site. So I'm going with the Irish. The luck of the Irish.
I'm going with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going Notre Dame. I like Arkansas's quarterback. but the defense is trash. I might bet the over. And Sam Pittman lost 2 games so far. They should have won. Ole Miss game in Memphis.
I knew it was Sam something. Yeah, Memphis. How you lose that game against Memphis? My gosh.
Yep.
Fumble the ball twice, 2 games in a row on a game-clinching drive. What?
And their defense team. Don't take it Notre Dame.
Yeah. All right. Who'd you take, Chris?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. All right. Next game. The Buckeyes at the Huskies. I'm going, obviously, Ohio State. By a lot.
By a lot.
By a lot.
I'm going Ohio State, but everybody's got to have that one really sloppy game every year.
Yep.
And I think this is going to be it. And I think Ohio State wins outright, but I don't think they're going to cover the spread.
It's going to be a grinder. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. And Washington's Husky Stadium is one of the most slept on home field advantages.
Agreed.
Because we're all old and gray. We know when Washington has a good coach, they're a good program.
They can win games.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I don't think they'll win because I think Ohio State defense is that good, especially their secondary. Jeff Fisher doing good things. And this is a true test with Julian saying also. He has to throw that ball downfield, so. And that's why I think it'll be close. But all Ohio State has to do is just win the game. But I think it'll be right around that cover. I think Washington may cover. Ohio State wins.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, big one in the SEC. Go Tigers.
This game right here,
the Ole Miss Rebels.
This game right here is going to lose a lot of people some money.
Stay away, folks. You don't have to bet everything.
No.
No.
I'm taking LSU in this one, though, in a close road win. Their defense I think LSU's defense is legit. Granted, they hadn't played anyone. Clemson, obviously, is scrub. So, but I think LSU's defense is much better than it's been in the past, and I think LSU goes in and not by a lot, maybe a field goal type game, but I think LSU wins. Taking the Tigers.
I'm gonna have to go against you. I think it'll be a dogfight. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game. But I think Ole Miss covers, which 1.5 not a lot to cover, but I think it'll be a field goal type game. But I think Ole Miss pulls it out.
Yeah, I like
see that.
It depends who starts at quarterback for Ole Miss. If Trinidad starts, I'm going with them. Not that lefty who burned me against Kentucky because he threw the ball everywhere to them. I'm going with Ole Miss in this one because LSU's offense stinks. Nussmeier, he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the country. Their offense has stunk all year long. Yeah. And I'm going with Ole Miss at home on this one.
That was a difficult one for me. I think Nussmeier has been battling an injury, but I think he's dang near back to healthy. So I just think that LSU has too much speed and talent over transfer portal U. All right, here's an interesting game here. The Boogers and the Aggies.
I don't know. Look,
Michael.
I don't know about that graphic you got right there, but
I couldn't find one.
I don't know who Texas M&A is.
Yeah, I couldn't find a graphic with the logo the right way.
Really?
So you just gotta. Yeah, good luck finding one.
You just gotta do what you do.
I just had to flip it horizontally in Canva. So y'all knew who I'm talking about. Texas M&A. That's where we're going. Texas M&A.
I just peeked that.
I got Auburn Reeland still complaining about the referees, using that as excuse, not really talking about the real issues, why they lost that game. But I think that they're still reeling from the whole referee thing. Hugh Freeze will play on that when he's trying to speak for his job. He'll say, well, we should have beat Oklahoma, should have beat Saban, the whole thing. I think they're going to go in there and get beat. I don't think they're going to get beat bad, but I don't think they can go in there and beat Texas A&M in College Station.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it'll be a close game. They may cover, but I'm going with A&M.
Yeah, here's my issue, right? They complain about that ref all day and night. Jackson Arnold stinks. Let's just be
he
real.
can't throw. He left
He's
about
terrible.
28 points on the field in that game.
Cam Coleman was running free, and I think A&M has a good enough defense. And like you said, Jeff, Auburn's still crying about that call. And your quarterback, Auburn, I'm sorry, your quarterback is so stupid. He took a sack on 4th down for a safety. I'm going with A&M.
He took about 5 sacks. He should have gotten rid of the ball, even just throw it away. But he's
he took like 5 sacks in the last 40 seconds.
I'm about to say he took 4 of them on the last 4 downs of the game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throw it away, son.
Throw it away. All right. Next up, Indiana and Iowa. Yeah, I had the same reaction when I saw it on the pick sheet. Like, huh?
Yeah. Well,
but I went with who did I go with? Oh, Signity and the Hoosiers. That's who I went with.
As bad as I want to pick Iowa to upset them, after that showing, look, I tried to get in as many top 25 teams as I could.
I think you're right, Keith.
I
just got a ping on my phone that they sacked him again.
As bad as I want to pick Iowa to upset,
I couldn't do it.
I got to go with Indiana after the way they played last week.
Yeah.
I
couldn't do it.
I'm going with Indiana because Iowa is that one school. If they had an offense, they'd be a perennial playoff contender. Yeah. The defense is always legit. And I think Indiana, it's going to be a tough game, but Iowa has no offense. And I think Indiana wins.
Me too. All right. Next, big SEC game here. Tennessee at Mississippi State. Cowbells will be out in full force. I don't think that Mississippi State can outlast Tennessee, but the Cowbells will be in full force. I'm going with the Vials here.
They will. And if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi State has pulled out some retro uniforms from remember the snow game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're pulling out the all white, the white helmets.
Whites only, they said, huh? That's a big sign out front. It says whites only. It's kind of weird. You know a problem down there.
You never know about Starkville.
Never know. Stark Vegas, baby.
I don't go down there. I leave it at that. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I know, Jeff, you want to pick the Vols.
I took the Vials, yes.
You know what? I think Mississippi State may upset them. I'm going with Mississippi State.
I think if Tennessee had played Mississippi State right after Georgia, I think they're cooked. But I think that bye week was probably a good thing for them. I think they outlast Mississippi State, but I think Mississippi State's going to scare them. And I got to shout out Jeff Levy for how he turned that program around so quickly after all they went through with Mike Leach passing away and all that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got 4 left. Next up is Arizona and Iowa State. I didn't know jack about either of these teams, so I went with Vegas and took the Iowa State Cyclones. Troy Davis is alma mater. Anybody remember that name?
I'm going with Iowa State. I mean, Arizona's okay this year, for a West Coast team, but I'm going with Iowa State.
This is very vocal about.
If we only picked SEC games, we'd be done in just a second.
We'd be done in like a minute and a half.
Hey, Lance, they had to go with Iowa and Indiana because they didn't want to be accused by Danny Cannell and Joe Klatt of SEC bias.
Poor Canal.
Yes, but I think Iowa State wins. The thing is, Rocco Beck is a gamer, and son of former Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end Anthony Beck is that. He knows how to win these close games, and I think Iowa State pulls out at the end.
Yep.
Anthony Beck from the Chargers?
Yeah, he played for the Buccaneers, the Jets. Yeah.
Wasn't he on the Chargers too?
Who wasn't?
That's true. All right, next game. Oregon at Penn State.
Woo! Can't wait.
Man, I took Oregon here because I don't trust Franklin to win a big game like this, even though that's a tough place to go play on a Saturday night. I like Oregon and Dan Lanning. I think Oregon's going to go in and win this game.
No. I think this is where Penn State. I think they beat them. I think Oregon. We see how not great Oregon is.
Yeah.
And I think, I think Penn State, I think it's a 7-point game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with the whatever Penn State is, the Badgers or the Lions. I'm sorry, the Nittany Lions.
He's like whoever they are.
Whoever they are. All right.
Both of these coaches have a win the big one problem.
Yeah.
They do.
Dan Lanning gets a lot of love, but I know he won the Big Ten last year. Funny how the national media never brings up Oregon when the Pac-12 team win the Big 12. I mean the Big Ten year one. No, the national they never bring that up. But
I think.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Drew Aller is 6'5", 240 with a rocket arm and is a fifth-year senior. You know what that means? He stinks.
Might say that means this is your last year playing football.
Yes, he stinks. To be real, I think Oregon wins, but there's a whole of Oregon. They're a little light. That best receiver is the freshman, that 5-star freshman. I forgot his name.
Decorian Moore.
Decorian Moore. Yeah. But
Keelan's teammate.
Yeah, Dante Moore. He's the best quarterback in that class. He was the same class as Arch and those guys. He's the best guy. He's legit. But this is his first big-time road start in this environment. But I'm going with Oregon because Drew Aller stinks. Because every receiver who left him got better than that school. I'm being honest. I can't take it. He's terrible.
That's too funny. Who did you have, Chris?
Oh, I'm going with Penn State. Yeah,
right.
I took Penn State. Yeah, oh yeah.
All right. Our next one, Kentucky at South Carolina. Again, I couldn't find a logo flipped, so you got to get the backwards.
It's okay. It's okay.
Backwards logo.
It looks great.
Thank you. I took South Carolina here, especially if Sellers plays.
I'm going. Carolina. I don't know if Sellers is going to play, but I'm going with South Carolina. Kentucky they don't have it anymore.
Agreed.
I'm going with South Carolina because I think Van Wilder, a.k.a. Calzada's playing. He stinks. So I'm going with South Carolina at home.
That's usually if you got to flip a coin, find the quarterbacks. And
that's me.
All right. So last one, the biggest one. The big kahuna.
The big one.
The beloved Tide at the Dogs of Georgia. I think I know where I'm going with this one. Give me Bama by a hundy, baby. We're going into Athens.
Bama
we're making
by
a statement,
hundy.
and we're walking out of there with a dub, son. Mic drop.
I mentioned in the group chat. I don't know. Maybe I told Mike. I don't know if I told you guys. I was gonna pick Georgia. And as the week went on, and I'm not going to say emotion started running through me about this game, but more or less, I got a feeling, one of those. I got a lot of pressure around the plums, and I think Bama wins. It may not be big, but I think they win, and we roll on to run the table the rest of the season.
To the playoffs, baby. This is our first win on the road to the
all
playoffs.
the way to the number 12 seed.
Just gotta get in.
Bama 34-28. I think the over is going to hit because these teams been having high scoring games. I think a sneaky reason why I think Bama's going to be locked in. You heard how Caleb Boyd after that Wisconsin game saying, we didn't finish. We didn't keep the foot on the gas pedal. You got to, if they had just blown them out 50-0, everything was good going into a bye week, that may have been kind of rough. But I think not finishing, as the coaches thought they should have. And the media is loving Georgia. Now, gotta stop this somehow. Now, Matthew Stafford over here. I think Alabama wins 34-28, and I think the road streak got to end sooner or later. And I think this team has enough team, and I think their receivers can really get down with Georgia. They can really cause a lot of problems.
I agree with
I
that.
like
So we all got
I
Bama.
like it.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it a lot. All right. So, yes, those are our 13 picks. We're all going to be 13-0 at the end of these, I'm sure. Well, we can because we went opposite, but I'll be 13-0, I hope.
Somebody will be.
Somebody will be, right?
As long
Probably
as
not.
Bama wins. As long as Bama wins, I'm cool. Because I don't
Bama
want
wins,
to
be cool.
I don't want to block my llama again.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Well, gentlemen, Tobias, thank you so much for pinch hitting tonight. Chris, thank you for coming. Yes, our friend Tobias. We love it. Tobias shows up. Now your headphones will be here Saturday. We'll be a finely tuned audio Tobias next time he comes on the show. So appreciate you coming on and joining us, Tobias. Roll Tide to your brother. We'll see you soon. Chris,
Hey, you guys have a good one.
See you, buddy. Chris, thank you for hanging out tonight. Chat, thanks everyone in the chat. Keith, Caleb, Jay Bake, Lance, Eric. Got a bunch of them, man.
I think I saw some new names in here.
Some new names I saw in here. Let me B Jammin'. That's my homie Brad. He lives down the street from me, so good to see Brad in the mix. See Caleb. I don't know if I mentioned Caleb already.
Caleb.
Man, He Hate Me was in here. Rod Smart was in here for a little while.
Yeah.
So we had a bunch of folks in here, man. We can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us tonight, for giving us a reason to do this, for for driving the show. Couldn't do it without y'all in the chat. And hanging out with us on Thursday nights and giving us material and giving us stuff to talk and bounce out and giving us this platform. So shout out to the chat. We love y'all. Shout out to Michael, to Bill. Bill's back, but he's on a date with the wife tonight. So we understand.
He's still recovering.
Jacob refuses to join the show. So we'll just keep needling him in the group chat, and one day he'll join. I'll keep sending him the link. One day he'll hop in. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
I always said he's got a face made for radio. So,
all right, everyone. We appreciate you joining us as always. Eat your vitamins, drink your milk, get your rest. Beat Auburn, beat LSU, beat Tennessee too. Kick Georgia's ass this weekend. Horns down.
down.
Roll Tide. See everyone next Thursday.